There's two key defenses. Actually, there's three key defenses. Recognizing a hazard is the first step in the standard accident prevention formula. Recognizing the hazard. So by looking ahead, we'll recognize the hazards. We'll see things that could be a potential. That person on the bicycle, a potential hazard. We got lots of traffic, we got lots of pedestrians, etc. These things. Act on it. So, and act in time. Make sure you're paying attention. Driving to avoid hazard requires skill and knowledge of the key defenses. One is eye lead time. That's looking ahead. So if we're downtown, we're going through city blocks, we should be looking, when we get through one intersection, look up the road towards the next intersection. What's there? What can affect us in our path of travel? Is the light red? Is the light green? Is there a traffic sign that says I can't go straight, I must turn right? Or I'm planning on turning right and I can't? Is there a sign there telling me that? Look ahead. Think of it. Is there a person waiting to cross the road? Is there a child there? Etc. We're looking ahead. These will make you think, make you a better driver, but it will make you act in time too, because you're looking ahead and you're thinking it's not going to be a big surprise to you. Another thing is following distance. We got to have a good, safe follow distance. And number 3 on this list, which is equally important, is never take your eyes off the road longer than 1 second. Never. For whatever's going on around your vehicle, etc., get your eyes back to the front. I'm going to repeat this a lot today because it's very, very important. We can get distracted. Number 1 cause of accidents, inattention, by us getting distracted. And as a driver, we got to avoid those distractions as much as we can. And we implant in our brain never to take your eyes off the road longer than 1 second. That can go a long, long, long way in safe driving habits. Remember, if the children are acting up in the back seat, well, you can't turn around and stare at them, etc. You need to pull off the side of the road and deal with the situation. Right? If we see something on the side of the road that draws our attention, well, our eyes got to go back to the front. We can't continually stare at that. If we want to look at it 5 times, well, we should turn our head back and forth from the front to the side, etc. That's what we're going to do. But get our eyes back to the front. If you're the type of person that's going to glance at your phone or a message, then you need to remember, get those eyes back to the front. The absolute safest way, of course, is not to have that phone with you or near you that you can reach, etc., to avoid that temptation of looking at it. But the eyes got to go back to the front. Okay? No longer than 1 second. So, eye lead time. We'll expand on it. It's your first line of defense when driving. You must continually assess the conditions around you. Most people have 180 peripheral vision when standing still, but that shrinks as your vehicle moves. The faster you go, the more that peripheral vision comes in. It narrows. So how do we compensate for that? Of course, we got to move our head back and forth. We got to change so we don't have what they call tunnel vision. We look all around. Eye lead time. How can we compensate for the fact that as your speed increases, your field of vision lessens? Keep your eyes moving, as I said. Eye lead time means looking ahead to the sides, behind your vehicle, stay aware of what's going on around. So you're glancing around your vehicle. Be aware of what's around you. Most situations where we're driving in an urban environment, our rearview mirror should be checked every 3 or 4 seconds to be aware of what's around us. whenever we come into a stop or we're slowing down, we should always remind ourselves to glance in that rearview mirror. What's going on behind us? What's that driver behind us doing? Because we're slowing down or we're stopping. Always look around. But remember, never take your eyes off the road ahead longer than 1 second. So, in the urban environment, we're going to use 12 to 15 seconds. Like I say, go through one intersection, you're looking at the next intersection. What's up there? What's up ahead? You're going to be there. So let's look and see what it's going to look like first. And on the highway, glance up the road. Glance 20, 30 seconds up the roadway, etc. to get visibility of what's there. What could it could be a parked car that's on the side of the roadway. Well, think of it more than just a parked car. Think of the possibility that a vehicle's going to make a U-turn in the roadway, etc. Or there's going to be a child jump out of that car. Don't always just think of it as a parked car. Think of the possibility that it could be something else. Or there's a guy on the road going to cut his grass, going to cut the shoulder of the road, cut the grass in front of his house to tidy things up, and he's on. Well, that should bring us some concern, right? If we're looking ahead, it's not going to be a big surprise to us. And we have stopping distance, right? So when we see something in our perception time, and that depends on what? Are we distracted? Or are we using good look-ahead capabilities, right? Whether that's going to be a surprise to us, or we're going to act on it right away because we see something that can affect us, right? But in the general scheme of things, it takes time for us to react, right? So we see what's going on, our brain registers it, we take our foot off the gas, and we apply the brake. And we talk 3/4 of a second, half a second, whatever. And then we got that red bar, that's your braking distance. That's the distance, whatever you put your foot on the brake, how far you're going to travel before the vehicle actually comes to a stop. So, road and weather conditions. So if it's road's wet, it's going to take us a little longer. If it's icy and snowy, it can take us a lot longer to bring a vehicle to a stop. If we're driving a big truck, an 18-wheeler, for example, is going to take us longer to stop. So the type of vehicle we're driving can have an effect, right? Are we towing a trailer, for example? That's going to add to our distance, our stopping distance. And how fast we're going is certainly going to add. The faster we go, that red bar gets longer, obviously. But that's your total stopping distance. When you put your foot on the brake, you see, you react, and you put your foot on the brake. That's the whole distance to the end there, from the start to the end. Extra caution is needed at freezing temperatures or slightly below on overpasses and underpasses. Air flows under those overpasses, the underpasses. Flows through it, and that will make the roads freeze quicker. In wet conditions, a buildup of cushion of water between road surfaces and tires can cause hydroplaning, and particularly at higher speeds. Are we going to hydroplane at 60 kilometers per hour? Not likely. But our tires play a big part in that hydroplaning. If our tires are poor, bald, etc., or not inflated properly, then that can play a factor with the hydroplaning. In hot weather, hot weather, blacktop surface can become 20 to 30 degrees hotter than the air, and that can make them slipperier and softer, just with the softness of the roadway building up that temperature, and you go to stop, and it's not a solid surface at that point. So that can play an effect. Following distance, the second most important defense. They're all important. Follow distance, eye lead time, and never take your eyes off the road longer than a second. No longer than 1 second. Proper eye lead time and a correct follow distance help to give you enough time to recognize a hazard and react before it comes to collision. Follow distance can be calculated by using the time interval formula. The time interval formula determines whether the distance between the two vehicles is safe. So we'll talk about this. Under normal conditions, so good driving conditions, it's not, the roads are dry, everything's good, we use a 3-second following distance. So we travel something, we're traveling, for example, if we're in that blue car and we're traveling behind that green car, we're going to use that post, the side marker, as our guide, and we would count 1001, 1002, 1003. And if we're driving that blue car and we don't reach that signpost by that 3rd second, then we're a good following distance. And it doesn't matter how fast we're going, whether we're going 20 kilometers an hour or 120 kilometers per hour. We always got to think a 3-second following distance. And if you use that formula for driving, and it'll come natural to you after a while. You'll say, oh, maybe I am too close, and start counting and say, okay, yes I am. I'm going to ease back a little bit to make it safe for everybody. If we're towing something, then we got to add 1 second for each additional 3 meters of vehicle length. Example, if pulling a trailer, increase following distance according to its length. So we're pulling a trailer that's 6 meters long, we should be adding 2 more seconds to that. So it should be 5-second following distance, right? And this is under normal conditions. If the roads are icy, if it's raining, then we got to add to that distance again, right? So like I said, choose a stationary object on the road and begin counting. When a vehicle in front of you passes that mark, 3 seconds should elapse. Before your vehicle passes the mark, 1001, 1002, 1003. Under abnormal conditions, the time interval standard changes because the conditions around you fluctuate. Ask yourself, what type of situations could alter the following distance? How should your time interval change for those? Towing a trailer, you're on icy roads, you're on a gravel road, that's going to change, right? Your traction's not going to be as good. So you got to increase your follow distance. And here we have a chart showing following distance. So you're the black car in each one of these situations. So number 1, a 3-second following distance. Perfect. Number 2, you're towing a trailer at 6 meters. So we're going to add 3 plus 2, 5. We should be 5 seconds behind that vehicle in order for everything. If that vehicle stops quickly, we should be able to stop quickly. And number 3, we're driving the black van. So we're maintaining a 3-second following distance from that car in front of us, but what's going on? We have a tailgater behind us. So we need to change things a little bit because of that. So what we do is, sorry about the phone ringing, what we do is adjust by increasing our follow distance from that vehicle in front of us. So if we're 3 seconds behind, but we've got a tailgater that's right like 2 seconds behind us, well, let's add another couple of seconds to our follow distance, thus making it safer. So if you're driving that van and that car in front of you stops rather quickly, now you increase your follow distance, so now you gives you more time and more of a gentle stop, and thus allowing that person behind you to also do the same. But if you have to stop quickly, what's going to happen? He's going to ram into the back of you because he's traveling too close. So keep that in mind. And also, as a tailgater, they do that. Drivers, they'll just do that. They just drive that way. And it doesn't matter if you're going 80 in a 60. They'll do that, right? That's just the way they drive. Not that you're driving too slow, etc. It's just the way they drive. Very unsafe. Number 4, follow the motorcycle. We talk about 3-second follow distance. You want to increase the second there. Make it 4 seconds when you follow the motorcycle. They can stop at a shorter distance than you and your passenger carrying vehicle. So add that extra second for the motorcycle. Again, number 5, you're getting tailgated by a large truck. Well, let's add another 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, right, onto that follow distance to make it safe for you. Number 6, you're following at a 3-second follow distance, but the car in front of you is tailgating that motorcycle. You can't adjust for that. You just make sure you're at a safe follow distance yourself. You can't change that because it's happening in front of you. And number 7, it's the exact same way. So keep your safe follow distance a minimum of at least 3 seconds. Okay.